Okay, we're talking about loading the film magazine for the Photosonics 1VN. This is the 100-foot darkroom load magazine, so you must always load this in the dark. This protective cover right here allows you to put the film on before you take it out of the bag, and then you can continue loading the film magazine in the light. So when you take this off and you have a end of the film is typically in this configuration. There's a core, and there is a little dial here for a footage indicator. You need to turn this so this tab is all the way back here so that it's now out of the way. So when you put a new roll of film on that, this is out of the way and that tab is out of the way. Okay, now when preparing the Photosonics film to be loaded, you need to cut across two perforations like that, and then angle cut the ends off. This is how it should look. You should not have any sharp points on the edges. The Photosonics manual is a little bit different, but this is how it should look, just like that. When you're loading the film, you need to take this end right here and just gently push it through the first sprocket. The film is actually in here, and it will gently drive the magazine. Now there's a locking pin right here. Sometimes you need to push this locking pin down in order to move the film through. The film will move through up through the top portion and automatically make this turn and then come out right there. Now what you need to do here is, now that the film is through the gate area, you have to be careful of these registration pins that are coming through the film. So what you need to do is gently move, use your thumb right here to guide the film. Registration pins coming in. Make sure you push this film into the gate area. You need to hold the film so that registration pins come through, like so. One thing I forgot to say is that in the darkroom, you must put this cover on and close the film magazine so that the film is held in there nice and tight so it won't fall out of the film magazine. Now you can take this film magazine out of the bag and load the magazine in subdued light. Not bright light, but very low light, just enough so that you can see the film movement. Okay, so let's talk about moving this film through here. You can see that the film has made the turn up here, is up through here, and it's down right here, and it's actually touching these registration pins coming out. You see those registration pins right there. So you hold the film flat as if you were the film gate. Hold the film, guide the film into the magazine, and then see how the registration pins are pushing the film right there. You want to move the film onto the pins and hold the film still. While the registration pins come out, the pull downs right here are coming in and getting the film and now pulling it. It'll move one more frame, and now you need to make sure that you hold this right here to continue pushing, guiding the film through these first couple of loops until the film will turn. Right here the film turns into the corner. Sometimes this locking pin will come up, so you have to push it back down. So the film turns into the corner right here. Let me try to get a better view. Let me get some better light here. Okay, that looks a little bit better. You can see the film coming into the corner right there. Film goes into the corner. The film will get pushed into the corner and into the sprocket. Now right when the film is right here, you have to go like this. You have to jiggle it back and forth to get the film to jump through and go exactly where it's supposed to go. Back and forth. Now it's good. The film will jump through and hit these teeth on the sprockets and then have the correct timing and correct loop. You can see that the loop right here is growing and then getting small. Growing and then getting small. So now that's fine. Now the film is coming through here. You need to make sure that this little silver button back here, little silver button, is pushed in. That's the film runout switch. You need to make sure that that is pushed in before you even start loading the magazine. If you are having a problem getting the film from here around this roller, and it will stop sometimes and hang up because the film is hitting that little runout switch. So now I'm going to just use my thumb. Make sure you're always keeping your finger here, guiding the film onto those pins at all times. I can't stress this enough, that while you're loading this mag and moving forward, you always are fighting with this little button right here that locks the magazine into position. You cannot move this because of this button. So you need to push this button down, and if you turn the magazine slowly and you are not guiding the film to hold it still, watch what happens when the pull downs come out. The film will slip off. It will slip. Boom, right there it slipped. And now the registration pins are not in the hole. What will happen, this is dangerous, because what will happen is if the film slips, now the pull downs, you need to really work on holding this film steady, moving it along. Now you have enough film to put the film on the core. Put the film on the core. This actually is a bad core. You see how there's a very large gap down here? There's a very large gap. This core should be thrown away, because if you put it on here, it won't drive it very well. It slips. You're going to have a jam. That's bad. This side of the core is good. Это хорошо. Это нехорошо. This side goes down onto the little tabs. Onto the little tabs right there. So, like so. Put the film on like that, put the clip on, turn it, put it here. Now, you want the film to be tight. You want the film to be tight from here to here, so that pressure will be put on this button, run out switch button. So you can hold the movement and turn this, and then also move the film tight. It's very tight from here to here. So when you put this on, this button is pushing into the camera on the run out switch. Before you put the magazine onto the camera, before you put the cover onto the magazine, make sure that the registration pins are all the way through the film so that you can see them. They're holding the film so it will not slip. When you put the film magazine onto the camera, you should see registration pins coming through the film. And this bar should be vertical, like that. You can see that if you turn this, the film will slip off of the registration pins, yet the pull-down claws are not engaged yet. If you put the film magazine on the camera like this and start turning it, you're going to punch holes into the film. It's bad. Очень плохо. So you need to make sure those registration pins are lining up. Right there. Always the film has registration pins coming out of it before you put it on the camera. Okay, here's an introduction to the 200-foot coaxial magazine. There is a cover that covers the film so that you can load the film and then thread the magazine in the daylight. You must grab the little spring-loaded covers here off to the side. You reach in right here by the roller, pop that cover off, and then put it off to the side. Now you need to make sure to spin this. Usually there's a core that is on right there, and this is the position that it will be in when it's empty. You need to spin this out here to the side, out of the way, so that it's all the way out of the way. Then comes putting the film in the magazine. The film is in the bag right now, but I've only got just the end sticking out. So you need to have just the end sticking out of the bag, and you need to cut this to prepare it for loading. Cut just across the sprockets like so, and then cut the corners off just like that. Now it's ready for loading into the magazine. Now the film can still be in the bag, but we need to take the end and roll it into the film magazine. So it needs to go through the rollers. Make sure this is down. Okay, to here. Okay, хорошо. Okay, now in the darkroom, in the bag, you need to do the following routine, maneuver. In the darkroom, in the bag, in the complete darkness, you need to make sure your film is very tight. Tight. Just like that. Like this. To make one crease, so that it goes backwards. Tight. Like this. Like this. See right here? Now, let me turn this. Okay? It's a little tricky. You must practice this. Practice this in the daylight, and then you can do it in the darkroom in the bag. Then, now it's okay to finish in the light. Then you continue loading this just as normal. You cut this again. Like this. Make sure you jiggle that to get that loop to go all the way through. If you have a problem like this, it's because you need to push this button down. Always use your fingers to make sure the film is in the correct position. If your film slides off, film is not in the right position, it's trying to punch holes into the film like this. You need to move this here, there. Always hold the film on the front here. Now, sometimes, if you put your finger right here, you can pull it. You must, to do that maneuver, to pull this, to spin this movement like that, you need to have your finger there to act as a pressure, holding the film like a film gate. See, look. Not working. Get it lined up, ready to go. It is usually not a good idea to pull the film like that, because if the movement stops, you will damage the film on the sprocket. So make sure that you have the registration pins coming through the film. Cut the film. Like that. I always hold this and turn this very tight. And then cover on. Okay, done. Ready. Very nice.